Shalom, all praise to Yahweh Shem Shah, double honor to the Apostle GMS. This is Amna Allah coming at you in the video. And in this video, I want to just focus on, do a quick show on taking the word of the Most High seriously. Because you got certain guys out there, and I'm not talking about anybody in particular, but you got certain guys out there who call themselves prophets or teachers or whatever. And it's like when they come out to teach, it's like their body is there, but their heart isn't in it. Their spirit isn't into it. It's kind of like they just, out there until camp end. You know what I mean? Like, I came out this week, so I guess I'm good with the Most High. That kind of mentality. Well, that's not what this thing is about. Your heart got to be in this. You got to eat, sleep, you got to breathe, you got to live this truth. This truth is a way of life. It's not just something that you do on a Saturday or whatever day it is that you go out. So let's get right to it. This is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 2, verse 42 in the Apocrypha. It says, I, Esdras, saw upon the Mount Zion a great people, whom I could not number, and they all praised the Lord with songs. And in the midst of them there was a young man of high stature, taller than all the rest, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. So I asked the angel, and said, Sir, what are these? He answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing, and put on the immortal. In other words, these that have put on those heavenly bodies, or those celestial bodies. When you read in the book of Corinthians, what's that, 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, and speak about this, the celestial body and the terrestrial body. Alright, those that have put off the mortal clothing and put on the immortal are the Lord's elect. Those that were delivered. Those that the Lord found worthy to be saved. Those are the ones that have put on the immortal clothing. Those are the ones that are going to receive everlasting life and have confessed the name of the Most High. So they confess the name of the Most High. They have confessed the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. They have not concealed it. They have confessed it and proclaimed it to the world. Now are they crowned and receive palms. Then said I unto the angel, What young person is it that crowneth them and giveth them palms in their hands? So he answered and said unto me, It is the Son of the Most High, whom they have confessed in the world. So it's the Son of the Most High, Yahweh Shah, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord. So then Esdras, also known as Ezra in the Bible, is the same person. What did he do? He began to commend them, or congratulate them, or honor them. Why? Because they stood stiffly for the name of the Lord. They stood stiffly, meaning what? They stood steadfast, unmovable, as is mentioned in the book of Colossians. In other words, they were grounded, they were rooted, they were settled, they were stiff. In other words, they weren't easily rattled or shaken. They took this truth seriously. Alright, so they stood stiffly for the word of the Lord. A person that stands their ground is a person that stands stiffly. They're rooted. You can't move them off their position if a person is standing their ground. So guess what? If you're standing stiffly, then you can't be moved. Obviously, we move physically, but you can't be moved spiritually. In other words, your spirit cannot be shaken by anything. You're going to maintain that level of being rooted. It's like a tree. A tree that's firmly grounded or rooted won't just be blown away by a strong wind. No matter how strong it is, that tree is going to stay rooted no matter what. And it said they stood so stiffly for the name, for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. That's another thing that's important, the name. Alright, continuing on. It says, Then the angel said unto me, Go thy way and tell my people what manner of things and how great wonders of the Lord thy power thou hast seen. You get the next scripture. Here's the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 21. It says, "For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." Right. Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Whatever it is that you treasure, whatever it is that you fix your mind upon, whatever it is that you direct your affection, there will your heart be also. Alright? So whatever it is that you desire, your heart or your mind is going to be there as well. For example, if a person treasures their car, they set their affection on that car. And if anything happens to that car, they tend to it. Because that's how fixated their mind is upon that car. They always cleaning their car to get a scratch in their car. They gotta get rid of the scratch. They get a dent on the car. They gotta get rid of the dent. The littlest thing that happens to that car, no matter how minute it is, they get attentive towards it. Because why? Their heart is upon that. Because they look at that car like it's a treasure. So they have a great affection towards it. They emotionally inclined to that vehicle. Same thing with a woman. You got a guy who treasures his woman. He continuously tends to her every need. Alright? Or like a woman that may have a man. Or a person who treasures his children. His or her children. Where their treasure is, there will their heart be also. Whatever it is that you treasure, whatever it is you set your affection on, whatever it is that you treasure, your affection is going to be set upon that. But this truth, what you're supposed to treasure? Matthew 6:19. Laying it up for yourselves treasures upon earth where moth and rust doeth corrupt. So on earth, moth and rust doeth corrupt. A moth, your garment can become moth-eaten, meaning a moth can eat your garment. So they got mothballs. A moth can eat up your garment. Rust can corrupt jewelry. And where thieves do break through and steal, a thief can break through and steal those things. You could be walking down the street with nice jewelry on, nice clothes, and somebody could pull out a gun and take it right off of you. Or you could have it in your house and somebody could take it. You know? The bank could put a seize on your account. Anything could happen to these earthly treasures. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doeth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through and steal. But if you set treasure in heaven, moth can't corrupt any treasure in heaven. Rust can't corrupt any treasure in heaven, because treasures that are in heaven are spiritual things, not physical things, not earthly things that a moth can eat up or that rust can destroy. The treasures that you have stored in heaven are heavenly treasures, spiritual treasures that no man on this earth can take. The only thing that could the only way something spiritual could be taken from you is if the Most High allowed it to be taken from you. And that's an act of the Most High. It's not an act of no man doing something. So you're supposed to set your affection upon things in heaven. Why is that? It says, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven where neither moth nor rust do corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Wherever it is that you treasure, there will your heart is going to be. I know I started from verse 21, but as I was reading, the Spirit had me go up to verse 19. Let me get another scripture. So your heart got to be in this thing. Like even Atlantic Starr had a song in 1985 that goes, "If your heart isn't in it." Hey man, that's spiritual. So let's continue. Colossians 3:1. If ye then be risen with Yahushua, seek those things which are above. So we're risen with Yahushua. We're dead to this world. And our old man is dead and buried. But now the new man is risen. And we're risen with Yahushua. So we're a new person now. We're a new creature. As it tells you in the book of 1 Corinthians 5th chapter. If any man be in Yahushua, he is a new creature. In other words, you're like a new creation. Seek those things which are above. So you got to seek things which are above. Spiritual things. Heavenly things. This truth. You got to be serious about this thing. You just can't come out and say, I'm out here another week. Alright, I made it out. Next week, I got another 7 days till I got to do this again. You can't come out here and just be out here just to be out here. Like your spirit ain't in it. If so, you're not fooling nobody but yourself, because the Most High knows your heart. You can fool man, but you can't fool the Most High. You can't fool Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. Seek those things which are above, where Yahweh Shai sitteth on the right hand of the Most High. Right, that's where Yahweh Shai sits, on the right hand of the Most High, in the spirit world, in heaven. Set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth. So you're supposed to set our affection on things above. You're not supposed to set our affection upon things on the earth. You know? Fame and fortune. Seeking a high level of social, financial status in this world. Seeking to be accepted by this world. We don't seek those things. We seek heavenly things, spiritual things. So with that, I'm going to close. I'm going to say, all praise to Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. Double honors the Apostle GMS. I hope you've learned something. Shalom.